All right. Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us today, wherever you are located. And we're going to give it just 30 seconds or so, a minute to let people start joining before we jump into our content today. All righty. Okay, so let's just get started. We'll let people come in, join, all of that. So thanks again for joining us today. I'm super excited about our topic. And so if you joined us a couple weeks ago at GSX in New Orleans, you would have seen that we announced our newest innovation in the TrackTik platform. But don't worry if you weren't there. That's why we're here today to showcase that to you as well. So we launched our newest innovation, ReportPro AI. And now it's actually generally available to all of our users. And so we're here to talk a little bit about how AI is really changing the game. And I brought some friends with me to share their perspectives. All right. So my name is Karra Hendrix, Director of Product Marketing here at Trackforce, and I'm joined by two of my colleagues, Sean Miller, Senior Product Manager, and Chatura Liyanage, our VP of Product. And then our very special guest from a client of ours, Kimberly Pasco, Senior Director of Operational Support at Tarian Group. You're going to be hearing a little bit from all of us today, and we have a packed agenda. So I wanted to get going right away. In the next 30 minutes or so, we're going to be discussing a bit about the various opportunities with AI and physical security, along with our own AI first approach. Chatura is going to be leading some of that around our thinking around that AI first approach, the problems with incident reports that we are aiming to solve with this new capability. Sean is going to walk us through a live demo of the feature and the various things that it's doing. And then we're going to hear all from Kimberly about her and her team's real world experience with it. They were part of our early beta program, early adopter of this. And so we're going to hear her firsthand experience and what she's already hearing from her team and what type of impact it's having. All right. So quick reminders before we jump in. If you have questions at any time, submit them in the Q&A panel in Zoom, and we will have time to answer it at the end. Okay. All right. So let's get into it. Chatura, I'm going to hand it over to you.
All right. Thanks, Kara. And hello, everyone. And glad you can join us. I wanted to start with what business drivers AI can help with. AI has started to really transform the entire business landscape, and the physical security business is no exception to that. So, what are some areas AI can have the most impact, right? So, first is around improving operational efficiencies. We know in security, every second matters to save lives. So AI can help in reducing manual monitoring of video and alarm workload with faster threat detection and incident response, and can do all this with fewer errors at scale. In regards to financial performance, we know margins in the security business can be razor thin, right? AI can help in improving your financial performance and your bottom line by cost savings via automation, help reducing false alarms, and support in better planning your security workforce and tasks to optimize your business. It can also help around compliance and quality. So in guard management, that means improved report accuracy that we're going to get into in more detail, adhering to various SLAs and detecting areas where you fall short. And all of this can help in audit readiness. Finally, AI can be a tool of strategic differentiation, I think. AI is not an afterthought for the future, it's already here, right? So the companies that adopt it will have a strategic advantage and thrive. right? It will position those companies as innovative thought leaders that offers new and differentiated service offerings to solve your client needs. So to me, this is the potential of AI in physical security. Kara, next slide. So what are some common challenges in the physical security space that an AI first approach can help with? There's a few that's listed here, but let me double click on a few of those. One is around automated surveillance alerts, right? So AI can now analyze live camera feeds and send real-time alerts so that guards can be dispatched for genuine incidents. You know, things like unauthorized access and loitering and unattended objects or detecting people with weapons. And it prevents wasted time on false alarms or endless video monitoring. AI video analytics can also detect slip and fall hazards, unsafe crowding, or blocked exits, and alerts guards instantly for early intervention in these types of everyday scenarios. One of the key activities of a guard is mobile patrol, right? So AI can help to optimize patrols where it enables automated or semi-autonomous scheduling for guard patrols based on things like historical incident data and prioritizing high-risk areas or taking into consideration weather and traffic and open source intelligence data and adjusting routes in real time for resource efficiencies. It can also be used for augmenting or automating workflow tasks. This could be common coordination tasks like notifying teams or escalating issues or managing SOPs. They can be automatically triggered by AI, so security teams can focus on safety and response instead of manual admin work. Back office teams can also benefit and have AI agents to augment tedious tasks such as invoice checks and scheduling. Finally, it can also help, I think, in proactive threat intelligence detections, right? So we all know organizations today are inundated with vast amounts of data from open source intelligence sources, dark and deep web, and other data sources. And this relevant and the relevant threats are kind of hidden in these mountains of data. AI-powered tools can easily help analysts navigate this data and detect threats to the organization and help disseminate this intelligence to other security teams to improve their security posture. So I think the physical security industry is embarking on exciting times to realize the true goal of security. And that is to keep our people and assets safe. And I think that's where AI will have the biggest benefit. So with that, I will hand it back over to Kara and Sean to discuss the exciting work we've done around the incident report assistance. Kara?
Perfect. Thank you, Chatura, for going over that. There's so many exciting and interesting applications of AI here, and honing in on incident reports that we're doing today makes so much sense. Incident reports, we all know incident reports are so important to everything that we do in physical security. But let's face it, they are time consuming for everyone involved. It takes time to write them, to potentially edit, rewrite them, review, understand, read them, and make sure they're compliant and professional in order to share them with your clients or with leadership. And so that's a huge issue. How can we save some of that time? But I'm curious, before we get into this, we've heard various stories from our customers, but I'm curious from the group here. We're going to launch a quick poll. How much time per week would you say that you or your team are spending on proofreading, editing, and rewriting reports so that they work within your standards? I'm going to give everyone about 10, 15 seconds to answer here. I'm super curious how much time, what this looks like for different people, because we've definitely heard a wide variation, but a common theme of this is something that takes more time than we'd like, for sure. All right. Let's close the poll. We'll share the results with everybody. Super interesting. Okay, so definitely dispersed. A lot of people in the 2 to 4 hours seems to be the most, but then we have people in the 5 to 10 hours, more than 10 hours. And so I think we can all agree here that the time spent editing, rewriting, reviewing all of this is taking more time than we'd like. Um, and so thank you for sharing that input. I always love seeing, how this varies for different customers, different clients. And so I'm sure now everyone wants to hear more about what ReportPro AI is all about and how to use it in the platform. So Sean, do you want to take it from here?
Hello. Thanks, Karen. Yeah, I really hope that we can help the 10-hour plus person 100%. So whoever that is, I'd really like to know afterwards if this is 100% valuable for you guys. If you want to go to the next slide, that'd be great. Okay. So we've done a few things for Report Pro AI. One of them, the first thing is reports have text box fields. Users input information into the text box field as what they're actually looking at in the field and trying to report on. However, sometimes the sentence structure isn't that great. Sometimes the language isn't appropriate. So what we can do now is we can AI enhance that field and actually give more of a polished version. So when the user reads the report, the client will have a nice text instead of just filled with grammar mistakes, bad sentence structure, and sometimes some negative language. Also, we have this whole summary concept. So imagine a report now that you've had text fields and a bunch of other information in it. Now, instead of a user going to read all the fields inside of the report, you can actually just have a nice little summary at the top of the report that'll give you the concise version of everything that happened inside of that report. Great application for something like a dispatch report. Report AI. Okay. For track compliance. So what we've done here is we've increased our audit history. So when a user submits any kind of fields to AI, we're capturing that original data. We're capturing what the AI is going to give us back, and we're capturing what the output is. And then every kind of edit that is done, we're capturing as well. The other thing to note here, guys, is that we do not sell any of the information. The data is not used to train any of the models either. Perfect. I'm going to share my screen now, and we'll go through a quick little live demo here. So hopefully everybody can see my screen here. So a user would be at the site. They've got to fill out a report. Something has happened. Just going to click on create a new report here. We're going to go to TL. A second here. And the report that I'm going to use here has the ability to have a summary already auto-generated with it. Now, it's not necessary to do an auto-generated summary. You can apply the summary later on. And also everything that I'm doing here also comes with a role and permission, so you can control what users can actually use this functionality as well. So the incident was a property damage. Who was called? We can say ambulance and fire department. Notified the property manager. Any other witnesses? Yes. And then the details of the incident would be what the user is going to put in. So I'll just grab the text here. And you can see here it says around 4:30-ish in the morning, Buddy was speeding through the parking lot of a shopping center, blah, blah, blah. Called 911, pretty badly hurt. It was pretty gross to look at. So obviously, something that should be polished. User then can click on this nice little star icon. It's going to ping the AI. The AI is going to return us back something with more professional languages. I can either accept or decline this. If I decline it, we still capture that the user declined it, and you can rewrite the paragraph and reprocess it again as well. I'll accept. I'm going to send the report. So the report's going to do its thing, and I'm going to generate the auto summary already. So it's going to hit our portal. I'm just going to click on here. Here's our report. We'll view the report. And you can see here at the top, I'll just zoom in a little bit more. You can see here at the top that we have a nice summary of the report. The details of the incident, also a little statement here that it was redacted by ReportPro AI. And if we look at our audit field, and I go to the audit of details of the incidents, we can see the original input, the AI output, and then the value that is current. Now, any changes that you're going to make in the report will keep on following, and we'll always have those values recorded there for you. Perfect.
All right. Thank you, Sean. All
You're
right. I'm
welcome.
going to bring back my sharing here. And now I'm so excited to talk to Kimberly and share with everyone about her experience, her team's experience in actually using this. So everyone knows, so Kimberly is with Tarian Group, a customer of ours, and they were part of our early adopter program and experience with ReportPro AI. So they got a chance to introduce it to their teams, use it, test it, provide feedback. And so I thought it would be a great opportunity to not just take it, hear it from us, but hear it from a client who's using it in their day-to-day. And so, Kimberly, could you tell us a little bit about yourself, introduce you, your role for what you do at Tarian, and maybe a little bit of how long you've been using the TrackTik platform?
Thank you, Karen, everyone. Thank you for having me here today. My position within Tarian as a Senior Director of Operational Support, it really revolves around the responsibility of overseeing the daily operational processes to ensure we have alignment with our organizational goals while developing and implementing our organization strategies to enhance efficiency and effectiveness, just what we're talking about today. I have over 20 years of experience in the security industry, and I've actually been working with TrackTik for over a decade now as it's grown and developed.
That's amazing. So you have quite the experience with the platform. I'm so glad you joined us. And so tell me a little bit about the types of challenges that your teams face today or were facing in regards to incident reports. How are they impacting your operations?
Of course. We have faced many of the challenges that you've gone over earlier today. However, Tarian's incident reporting process has now become consistently polished and with a client-ready output. Our reports reviews are now streamlined, I would say, so clients can receive timely, professional documentation. The improved efficiency has really freed our leaders to spend more time in the field supporting operations.
That's awesome. And so that's so great to hear. I love hearing that feedback. So a little bit, tell us about that workflow. How has ReportPro AI changed the way that your team is creating, reviewing, submitting incident reports on a daily basis? How has that day-to-day workflow changed?
It's interesting. It has actually encouraged our staff to write stronger first drafts of their reports. It reduces the overall review timeframe and has created a faster submission and a higher quality report to our client. Our teams now rely on the tool to help standardize the language and structure of the report itself while retaining the opportunity to have a second human review to catch any lingering grammar or slang that is used.
That's so great. I think it's so interesting that it's encouraged your staff to write a better first draft because they know, yeah, how the AI is going to enhance it in a certain way. They need to start with a higher quality product. That's awesome. Can you share, so we talked a little bit about that workflow. How can you share any specific results or metrics since this rollout began? Are you seeing what does that impact look like?
It has made an impact to us. We've actually seen measurable savings in review cycles up to 50%. With increased confidence among, the report authors, noticeable reduction in subject and opinionated based language in reports, leaders are spending more time in the field instead of paperwork behind a desk, and our clients are receiving an even better and faster product.
That's awesome. I love that. And 50%, that is huge. We put that poll up of like how much time you're spending. Some people, It was anywhere from 2 hours to 10 hours or more a week. Cutting that in half would be huge for so many people. Uh, just thinking about all the things that you can do with that time savings. Um, I love that. So tell me about, like, you've talked about the impact, the workflow. Tell us a little bit about how did you train and onboard your staff to this is definitely a workflow change. How did you do that change management process? And what feedback did you get from your guards, supervisors, leadership, everyone in between?
Absolutely. We actually went in with this and briefed our regional leaders first on the product and the capabilities with a step-by-step workflow. Then we trained operations in the field and deployed the tool. As a follow-up, we held bi-weekly meeting sessions with our supervisors and leaders. We captured the positive and the negative input as we're going through the beta testing and relayed that information to TrackTik on alternate weekly meetings, which was very helpful for both groups. Overall, the feedback on the ReportPro product was simple, straightforward to use, and it made adopting it a seamless transition for us.
That's that's so great. It's so hot. You never know how it's going to go when you roll out something new and you ask people to use a new little slightly new process, but that's awesome to hear that. Yeah, we definitely want to keep things super easy to use so everyone can adopt it quickly. So I love that. So that was about rolling it out to your staff. What about clients? Tell us a little bit about how you introduced this to a client. What did that communication process look like? What was their feedback?
Well, we are and we continue to be transparent with our clients regarding the rollout of the Report Pro option. This include assurance, of historical versions of the report being captured, from the origin of in the field to the final product, that all of these changes or updates are all remain accessible, every single version, in addition to helping them understand the level of security and how their data is actually being used by the AI product within TrackTik, as Chatura and Sean, they talked about earlier. I mean, our clients have been truly appreciative to the faster turnaround that we're providing to them and a streamlined report process that they're receiving. So it's a win-win.
That's great. Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, that transparency with clients and just keeping that communication open is so important. Thank you so much, Kimberly. Is there anything else that you want to share on lessons learned? I'm sure, we have so many people listening today that are fellow TrackTik users. Anything else, tips that you want to share for rolling this out?
I would just give a couple of takeaways or, to
Yeah.
share is to keep the communication in your internal teams clear, concise, concerning the capabilities, opportunities, and expectations of using the product. In addition, we always are transparent with the clients on how it affects the data that we're collecting for them. How do we treat that? How is it being utilized? Is always very important to the end user, especially when it's their data. And then overall, I would say treat AI as a powerful, a powerful assistant that amplifies your strength. Always proofread the source information to make sure that, Report Pro can actually produce the best polished output. As we all know, Karra, garbage in is going to be garbage out.
Yep. I think everyone is learning that as we're adopting more and more AI, you've got to have something decent to start with before to get something great after AI does its magic. So, okay, perfect. Thank you so much, Kimberly. I'm sure it was, I'm seeing lots of applauding emojis fly through here. So I'm sure everyone greatly appreciates hearing your feedback. All right, I'm going to share my screen once more here, and then we'll have time for Q&A. But before, real quick, everybody, for those of you who are TrackTik users, TrackTik clients, or this is available to enable in your account today. And so if that's something that you haven't done yet, you can go ahead and do that today. If you go to the TrackTik Help Center, in your portal, click in the upper right, there's a question mark with a link to the TrackTik Help Center. search AI in there and you'll find the user guide to learn how to enable it in your account step by step, as well as how to use each new capability. And so that's a great place to learn and reference as you are picking this up for the first time. And I'm sure we all learned some really valuable tips and tricks from Kimberly in, it's great to hear how others are doing this and those helpful tips and tricks and best practices that she found along the way of rolling this out to her staff as well as clients. Okay, so now we have time for some questions. And I'm going to pull up my question panel here and start taking a look. Give me a moment. Okay. Can you tell me, this is probably a question for Chatura or Sean. How does AI ensure confidentiality? How can you talk to us a little bit about that? How we're using that data and that data use policy?
Yeah, I'll take that.
Perfect.
So we take data privacy very seriously, right? So we have a privacy by design methodology here. And when it comes to AI, we're kind of grounded on the EU Act, the AI EU Act. So and that's probably the strongest language we have around AI compliance so far. So that means we don't use customer data, or we don't sell customer data in any way. When it comes to specific LLMs, this is not a free version of LLM that we're using, kind of like ChatGPT free version. This is an enterprise version LLM that we're using, so the data is never really shared with any other entity. So that the data is encrypted. So there's a lot of things that we do to ensure data privacy.
Fantastic. Thank you, Chatura. Okay, next question. Sean, I think this one is probably for you. The audit section, does it only track AI changes or does it track other edits? And how would the AI edit result be viewed from a legal perspective?
Okay. So yes, the audit section tracks any kind of changes you make to the report. It's just not the value that I showed for the AI. I showed the AI enhanced value so you can actually have the historical records of what was inputted and what was given back. And that ties into the question of what a police would be looking for if you submitted it. They're just looking for the historical records, right, to see what the original input was versus the output. But because we're capturing all that, you have all the historical to give and back up to a police officer, if that's who you're submitting the report to, they could have all that historical. So that what pretty much covers you in those instances there.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And then another question, can we forward the report to the client or will it be automatic?
So all these kind of reports you submit inside of the portal, you can check our help desk as well, but I'll give you the kind of like the big description of it. But every report template has the ability to be notified or emailed out to the client in real time. Meaning once a report is submitted, you can actually set up notification rules to have it hit your client. That can also by default obviously go to their client portal. There's a bunch of little things to actually set this up, meaning like is it on creation, on approval, or on edit? But these are all little configurations you would do. But yes, it is possible to submit the report to your client by email once you receive the report on your side. You can also do this manually as well if you ever want to do it just ad hoc. But check the help desk. It's all outlined there as well in our help center.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. All right, there's a question about cost. Is this something that they need to order or purchase? And no, there is not. This is something that is available to all of our users right now as an enhancement to your current subscription. So if you're using incident reports today, you can go in and enable it and start using it. So hopefully that answers that question. Amazing. Yes, there's a question about contact information at the end. Everyone will receive a follow-up for this webinar. And if you would like to get a demo or, learn about this further, then you can do so. There will be a link in the follow-up email to view the recording of this session, as well as schedule a demo with our team if you wanted to learn more about this functionality. Oh, a question about languages. What languages does it support? Is that a Sean
Yeah.
question?
So it supports multiple languages, just not English. I can share a link as well with you so you can take a look at the languages. But it supports, English 100%, the baseline, Spanish, Portuguese, Brazilian Portuguese, Italian, French, Indonesian, German, Arabic, simplified Chinese, Korean, Japanese, Hindi, Bengali, Swahili, and Yoruba, and then obviously some other language. So yes, it supports quite a few languages. Now, some of these languages that aren't really widespread, it might support it, but it might not give you the best results. But if it's French, English, Spanish, and all the major, I guess, ones that people function in, it'll work. No issues there.
Great. Okay. People are asking, how do we get the instructions? I'll work with our marketing team to see if we can put a link to the Help Center instructions in the follow-up email so everyone can have that readily available. And there's one more question around, will the client be able to edit the AI version?
No,
Okay.
no. Clients don't have the right to edit reports.
Okay. Perfect. And a question about turning it on for the app. Yes, it needs to be enabled, and that's part of what's in the documentation to enable it in your portal to be able to see that AI enhance button in the UI. We can follow up with those instructions, and it looks like we are just about up on time. So unfortunately, that's all the time that we have for questions today. I want to make sure that everyone can get back to their day-to-day security life. And so thank you so much for joining us. If we didn't get an opportunity to answer your question, we will follow up with you directly to make sure that you get an answer. But a lot of there's no cost. You can enable it in your account today, start using it. We'll send the documentation, and thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate it. And thank you again, Kimberly, for joining us today. It was so great to hear your experience and your feedback.